Today, how much is a big hole worth? What if that hole is in Fortnite? This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, where I am once again trying to make gamer Rodney Dangerfield work.
Ah.
Let me tell you, I don't feel bad for V Shoujo. All my VTuber waifus left me, but I didn't get $500,000 for it.
You didn't steal $500,000 for it.
This bit gets no respect.
Splitgate 2 is back in the news, and this time, instead of getting laughs for farts, it's getting furrowed brows for unlaunching. Oh, that's so funny, but you can't actually do that, you know? Because about 8 weeks ago, I ordered a sandwich that was super mid, but I can't unorder it. Anyhow, for those of you pointing at your screens and saying, hey, wait! Wasn't that game also notorious for something else? You're right. It was the game that was completely overshadowed at Summer Games Fest by its CEO's very stupid hat. But aside from that unintentionally political statement, or perhaps because of it, Splitgate 2 has struggled since launch, reaching a peak of just 25,000 concurrent Steam users, less than half of the original's numbers. And that's why they're going back to beta. The game is going to be unlaunched until some time in 2026 because, according to 1047 Games, we had ambitious goals with Splitgate 2, and in our excitement to share it with you, we bit off more than we could chew. So what does this mean if you're one of the roughly 1,300 people still playing Splitgate 2? Well, you get a new interactive experience because you get to watch as the team tries to capture the spirit of what made Splitgate special, which actually means rebalancing progression, adding more portals to the map, simplifying monetization, and refocusing on classic game modes. And in fact, 1047 Games is so laser-focused on the spirit of what made the original Splitgate special, they've shut down the servers for Splitgate 1 and are laying off developers for the second time this year. Because that's the best way to rebuild a broken game, right? With less help.
War Thunder is back in the news again. But wait, not because someone leaked classified airplane schematics on the forums, but rather because the company behind War Thunder, Gaijin Entertainment, just spent millions of dollars to buy The Pit. No, not the hit medical drama featuring Noah Wyle, the user-generated Fortnite map. Yeah, see, people can make all kinds of stuff in the Unreal Engine Fortnite tools, or the UFN tools if you're nasty, and most of you are. Then, if you qualify for it, you can earn a revenue share if users buy and play with your stuff. Same way Roblox does it, but fewer children. Still lots of children, probably. You can earn some dollars from this program, and Gaijin Entertainment apparently figure they can make at least more than millions of dollars from buying a community-created map for somebody else's game. Also, from what I can tell, The Pit is by and large just a big box. Seems like they could have made their own, but hey, publishers routinely make bad decisions.
Donkey Kong Bonanza for the Switch 2 was recently released, and players are discovering what appeals to them the most is just absolutely leveling every part of the destructible environment. It's only been out for a few days, and already social media hellholes are sparkling with videos showing the utter devastation people are wreaking on different levels. And why not? Much like how children yearn for the mines, adults pine for the opportunity to simply go apeshit. I know that in my bones, I want nothing more than to perch my daughter on my shoulder, shapeshift into a zebra, and then tear the earth asunder. I want to rip up great chunks of terra firma, raise them over my head in thunderous glee, and smash the state to pieces. In fact, I don't even have to play as a giant ape to do that. I would have done this as a Goomba with disembodied mage hands, just like in the prototype. I'd do it now, for free, as a human, with a gnawing urge that I cannot name. I think I need a banana.
By now, most of you will have heard of Steam suddenly changing their terms of service on July 16th to exclude, quote, content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment processors and related card networks and banks or internet service providers, giving specific reference to certain kinds of adult-only content and the subsequent retirement and removal of many sex games depicting incest or slavery. Or maybe you hadn't heard that. It's been big news, but nobody reads the terms of service. The next day, on July 17th, little-known Australian organization Collective Shout claimed responsibility for pressuring payment processors to enforce the change on Steam, taking credit for the removal of nearly 500 games. The group had previously published an open letter to the CEOs of PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, PaySafe, Discover, and JCB, demanding the removal of games they deem harmful. Waypoint published 2 stories, the first on the 18th and the second on the 19th, detailing the Collective Shout's history of agitation against games, specifically previous campaigns against Grand Theft Auto V and Detroit Become Human. The articles argued that the language of both campaigns misrepresented the games, as they claimed that GTA V, quote, encourages players to commit sexual violence and kill women, and that Detroit Become Human featured, quote, child abuse and violence against women, whereas in reality that game was actually just very bad. The stories also detail Collective Shout's relationship with Exodus Cry and the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, both anti-pornography groups with fundamentalist Christian origins that have previously targeted Steam and Pornhub. Both stories were subsequently removed by Waypoint without explanation. The article's author Anna Valens claimed in a Blue Sky post that they were pulled by Waypoint's new parent company, Savage Ventures, over concerns about how the controversial subject matter might negatively impact the site's traffic. Valens subsequently announced she would no longer be contributing to Waypoint. And that's okay, because I won't be reading it anymore either. Collective Shout's open letter was not limited to targeting Steam, but also instructed payment processors to stop payments to itch.io. And on July 23rd, Itch had delisted thousands of NSFW games, which will no longer appear in searches. Devs report that games with queer themes and characters are being de-indexed, regardless of whether that content is sexually explicit. Itch has released a statement clarifying their position and stating that they are conducting a comprehensive audit of the de-indexed titles. The statement further says the titles must comply with standards from payment processors, which require titles to not include sexualized image or videos of real-life humans, AI-generated imagery that is designed to resemble pornographic content of real people, content glorifying sexual violence, and depictions of minors, minor-presenting or suggested minors. And yeah, those things would be good to not have in games. But in the interim, devs of games that just feature LGBTQ characters and themes, regardless of whether the content is explicit, are cut off from payment. Collective Shout appears to be banking that few people will rally to the defense of shovelware sexual abuse simulators, with their founder calling gamers porn-sick, brain-rotted pedo gamer fetishists. And are we really going to go to the wall for interactive sex incest twins episodes 1 through 3? Christ, no, not especially. But helpfully, the attack on Itch clarifies the intent of Collective Shout's campaign. Take down everything that is tagged NSFW. And if some of it comes back, well, then it will only be after the creators are starved of their livelihood. Personal discomfort is not the same thing as harm. This might seem reductive, but a game or a movie or a book or an album that depicts something that gives you the ick does not mean it shouldn't exist. Sex is something many human beings will experience in their life. It could be argued few human beings would exist without it. It is part of the human experience. Sex belongs in our art. And pornography does not have to be art in order to be a valid and legally protected form of expression. And who appointed payment processors as the ultimate arbiters of value? Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal must not get to veto what gets made and who gets compensated for their labor. And right now, it is the payment processors, under the direction of right-wing activists, who are deciding what games get made and whose stories get told. In no small part because definitions of obscenity are notoriously inconsistent. One person's art is another's pornography, and that person's pornography is another's obscenity. People crank hog to all kinds of random shit. Statistically speaking, over the course of the existence of YouTube, someone will twirl their meat to this video. Like, comment, and subscribe.
But let me tell you, this might be good news for me. I wasted so much Steam credit on porn games, my wife wants to unlaunch our marriage.
Okay, I legitimately, the voice is good. I like the voice. I think we could work with that and replace the content with jokes.
Would it be better if I had a tie?
Coming up, Despite heaping praise on the Crash Bandicoot remake trilogy, Naughty Dog co-founder Andrew Gavin does feel that they botched the jumping mechanics, allowing for less air control than the originals. When asked for comment, CheckPoint co-host Graham Stark said, "I knew it! I fucking knew it! Vindication, it feels so good!" You did know it.
I was saying, I was like, this doesn't feel the same. Like, I 100%ed the old Crash games because it was like the one game I had, right? Like that's how video games work when you're a kid, or at least used to. Now our kid has access to all of our games, so she's got no complaints. Well, she's got complaints, but different complaints. And I remember the remakes. I was like, oh, these look amazing, but like the jumping just doesn't feel quite right. And it's because, according to Andrew Gavin, who did, by the way, he did say very, very nice things about everything else to do with the remakes, but he was talking about how it's a digital input. It's like on or off, and so they wrote this like interesting code that basically, like, as you hold it down longer, it sort of like ramps up to higher. It basically, they wrote a system where in the digital input, how long you hold it down emulates an analog input. So if you just like tap it, you do a little hop, and if you hold it down for longer, you go longer. I know that sounds very simple to be like, oh, you press it, you hop a little bit, and if you hold it down, you go further. But there was a complicated code thing to make it work and feel good. And he was like, so I don't know if they like didn't know that, or didn't know how we did it, or just didn't bother, or what, but for the remakes they were just like, you press jump, it's max height every time. And reading that, I was just like, yes, because you couldn't do the little hops, you couldn't do the like bop bop bop. And so yeah, I was like, I knew it. So I felt very vindicated about that.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Alluded to it in the intro, but a big story that we didn't cover is that VShojo, the big VTuber conglomerate, has dissolved with the CEO, former Twitch staffer Gunrun, who founded it, being like, "Yup, I fucked up." This is after. The TLDR is that inarguably the biggest VTuber, Iron Mouse, left VShojo because they owed her money too, but more relevantly, they owed like $500,000 to a charity through a fundraiser that she had done. And it sounds like basically what happened is that VShojo was not doing well financially, saw light at the end of the tunnel, and was like, okay, well, we'll just keep this. We'll take this money for now.
We'll do a little accounting fraud.
And we'll use it for that. And then when we get to the end of the tunnel, then we can put that money back and give it to the charity. Mm-hmm. And they didn't make it to the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. Which I saw a lot of people commenting on the statement being like, I don't think a lawyer read this because I think he just admitted to something very illegal.
Yeah.
So... yeah. So
not great.
Iron Mouse left again, the biggest personality there. Some others left with her, and then it was like, at that point the writing's on the wall, so they just shut the whole thing down. So a bunch of independent VTubers now scurrying out into the net. I don't know how that works. Yeah. Cameron wrote a big ol' Steam thing story, which is, by the way, he wrote it because of our recording time this week. He wrote it a couple days ago and had presumed that something would happen with Itch, like within the next couple days. And then he was like, well, I've written my story, and then put the story in, and then already it, like, but between him starting writing the story and assuming that would happen, it happened. And so then rewrote that part about Itch, because that did indeed happen. Right. And look, people are justifiably upset at Itch, and I get it. You should phone Visa and MasterCard and PayPal. There's people organizing all over Blue Sky being like, here are the phone numbers. Like, apparently it only took Collective Shout like 1,000 people to phone them and be like, man, we're mad about sex.
Don't put any porn on the... Put like... as we said in the story, it's fine to have some standards as a society.
Yeah.
We all agree. Nobody is arguing for just a free-for-all. Mm-hmm. However, who sets these standards? It cannot be PayPal.
Very likely.
Upon 1,000 people's stuff, when they're just like, well, anything that I don't like should not be sold. Because there's a Boards of Canada song, and it's like anybody who would tell you, they have an old sample, and it's from like the 1970s. Anybody who would, and it's about people trying to demonize pornography in the 1970s. We've been there, right? The demonizing pornography is the first wedge in cutting free speech.
Yeah. And it's, I mean,
right?
it's already, again, with the stuff that's happened on Itch, it's already had the totally unintended side effect of affecting non-sexual LGBTQ stuff, which was, I mean, I made a big point of unintended, because obviously the people that do this,
that's the end goal.
They would like for that to happen, but they're like, oh no, it's about boobies because we're protecting the children. So anyway, you can probably phone MasterCard, I guess, if you're so inclined.
Yeah, 1 second. It's called the song is called "One Very Important Thought."
Nice. Is it on Campfire Headphase?
No, it is.
Words of Canada is great.
It's on,
by the way,
their first album, "Music Has the Right to Children."
There you go. Nelson wrote the Splitgate story. What a silly goose their CEO is. And Beej wrote the banana story. I was watching people play Donkey Kong Bonanza and going, so can you just destroy everything? And it turns out, boy, can you. I mean, there's a limit. There has to be, like, there is like Bedrock in Minecraft. There's a floor, basically, but people have been like, tear it all down. And I respect it. Also, it means that now I don't have to, out of curiosity, though I might do it for fun.
Yeah, well, we'll put the demo. We'll try the demo and see what it's like.
Yeah.
Okay.
These
are the actual lyrics of the song. Now that the show is over and we have jointly exercised our constitutional rights, we would like to leave you with one very important thought. Sometime in the future, you may have the opportunity to serve as a juror in a so-called obscenity case. It would be wise to remember the same people who would stop you from listening to Boards of Canada, because it is a Boards of Canada song, would stop you from being able to view pornography. Maybe back next year to complain about a book or even a TV program. If you can be told what you can see or read, then it follows that you can be told what to say or think. Defend your constitutionally protected rights. No one else will do it for you. Thank you.
Also, no one else will support us on Patreon for you. Was that crass?
I mean, I was intending that to be the button, but you know what? We can workshop. We'll workshop it.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah.
But, thank you for supporting us on Patreon or becoming a member on this YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. Bye, everybody. Welcome to CheckPoint, where great start to the day.